Hey, Adrian, you got so much going on, this week with the All-Star Game and, of course, the Hall of Fame. What's it like with your son being eligible for the draft, and will you spend the next few days with him?
It's going to be fun. I think that, the last couple of weeks has been a little crazy. I was excited to come here and be part of this event and be part of the draft probably too, knowing that my son has a possibility, see what he decides to do. But, it's been fun, so I'm looking forward to it.
And him growing up, was it tough because everybody knows who his dad was? Was it more pressure on him?
It's a question for him, I think. I always try to be in the backside, just be there, but not known. Let him do his thing, letting him struggle his own thing, and we can try to fix some stuff. But, I always try to keep giving his space. But for the most part, he really handled it well.
Thank you.
Michael, I know you guys are having a lot of fun with all these guys, all your old teammates around, but when the first pitch is thrown, you guys have always been competitive. Do you think it's going to get competitive? You're going to feel the adrenaline and the juices flow?
Hold on. Let me answer his phone call first.
Where's that? What's Nevada, Texas? Is that a city?
Yeah, it's just north of here.
Sorry, Nevada.
You didn't even know Waxahachie one time.
What is that? Just kidding. Yeah, I think so. I think, for one, I wanted to make sure that the players have a great experience. But I think AB and I are both going to try. He already told me he's 2-0, and he intends to go 3-0. So I don't think either one of us would do this thing if once the game started we didn't want to win it. Obviously, yeah, to your point, it's great to see these guys. There's a lot of guys who I haven't seen in a while, so it's great to give handshakes, hugs, and see old teammates again and old friends again. But I think one of the best things we can do for these kids is obviously be here to support them, but to let them know that when a game starts, you play to win. That's the whole goal.
Yeah, it's nice to see all those guys, here. Got to see a couple of guys I haven't seen in a while. It's been fun been back in the clubhouse and enjoying this. And for the part of being competitive, yeah, I definitely. I just saw him spying on my lineup right now.
True story.
We walk in, yeah. We know the game. We enjoy playing the game, and we know how fun can be. But at the same time, we want to win. It's no doubt that we want to win. We want to compete and make sure the guys have fun, enjoy it. This is a privilege to be here. It's the best players in the minor league. They have the great future to be in the big league soon enough. So yes, we want to win, but at the same time, we want to be able to let those guys enjoy the game and produce, and actually it's a showcase for them. The showcase, people can see them, what they can do, and hopefully they can be in the big league soon.
Question for Adrian and Michael Young. Working with these kids here, you were both known as leaders in the clubhouse here. How do you impart knowledge to these young kids about doing things the right way and being accountable and being a leader? Because already people are looking at them to be the next stars for their teams.
Well, first of all, for me, I learned a lot from this guy. When I got here in Texas, he was the first guy to grade me here, and he was a leader here, and I learned a lot from Michael. He's a great guy to follow, and I always try to keep learning from different guys, how to lead and how to be part of a big group. So for us, we talk about. I think he talked about in the meeting earlier in the breakfast. That's like, first of all, you need to understand, like, it's people watching you, it's people looking at you, and not just what you do in the fields, how you carry yourself around other people, and what kind of person you are. So for those guys here, we're going to talk about that today, just not to be a good player, but a good human being. And we always want to create leaders, not only for the game, but just for life too.
Yeah, I think, to Adrian's point, and not to return the compliment, but it's easy for this guy. I mean, the one thing I loved about him, is that working? Good? Okay. Is that Adrian didn't just show up at 7 o'clock and punch in, punch out. Like, there are certain teammates that you play with and you love to play with because they really play to win. And when I played against Adrian, I admired him a lot because, one, he played through injuries, he's a tough dude, played hard, teammates loved him. And it's easy as an opponent to really, really like and respect guys like that. But then when I played with him, I was like, man, at 7, like when the first pitch goes and the lights go on, like he's not just here. He's here to win. And like, especially when you have a good team and a guy like that walks in the door, you're like, you immediately, before the first games even play, we're like, we just got so much better. Obviously, he's a great player. But just the way he approaches the game. So if we can and it's one day, so it's hard to make big connections. But if there's one thing that I can, that we can do to talk to these kids about is, hey man, when you are playing, yes, of course you're having fun, and that's all part of it. But play to win, show up and play to win, and everyone's going to feed off of that.
This is a question mostly for Adrian, but certainly Michael might have an opinion on it as well. Adrian, the last few days you've been doing so many things here in Arlington related to the All-Star game, and then you're also prepping for the Hall of Fame. My question is, do you find yourself having to do all of these things, talking to people, do you find yourself more relaxed than when you were a player, when you had to produce on the field and talk to people, whether it was reporters or in a setting like this? Do you find yourself more relaxed now doing these things?
Well, I cannot say I'm relaxed for the last couple of weeks, but definitely the whole thing about coming here and doing this, yes, relax. You don't have the stress of producing and being part of the team that you want to help any way you can. Yeah, it's more relaxed because you're from more than the outside looking in. Yes, the last couple of weeks it's been kind of crazy, busy, and the week coming up too. So I'm trying to enjoy the whole thing. I'm really enjoying this right now. The only part that I'm not enjoying is thinking about the speech that I have to get up there and throw some curveballs. That's not gonna be good, by the way. But yeah, this is a great time. It's a great time for me, and not only because of me, and I'll be able to see great friends and great guys that I look up to, but having my son here and enjoying all this stuff because is a plus for me. I just always wanted to be able to be in places that he can enjoy too, because he loves baseball more than me actually. So to be able to be around this clubhouse with these guys and bring him back to this future game for me is a plus.
Adrian, what do you know about Sebastian Walcott? And then how difficult is it for an 18-year-old to be a professional and do the things that you guys are talking about, knowing that people are watching him?
Well, I can say that I can relate because, I think everybody know who he is. But as a player, you have to just do your thing. It's so much going on with that guy, and I'm a fan. But I can't speak for himself. I don't know exactly. I haven't made a conversation with him yet. But he has a good problem. It's a good problem to have, being in his position. So I can't say more about that.
Adrian, I don't know if you've noticed or seen the videos of Ellie De La Cruz and the pride he has in learning English, even interviewing teammates. When you see the young kids here, the Latinos, Dominicanos, Puerto Ricanos, the importance of learning English, of being articulate. Can you tell me a little bit about your growth in the Dodgers Academy from not speaking English to learning English, and the importance for all these kids to be able to speak that second language?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny because we were just talking about that with my son yesterday. That when I first saw, I think it was a month ago, 2 months ago, spring training, I think, when he first got back from, spring training was like 4 months ago, sorry. Time just goes by.
Retired life, bro.
Yeah, I know. And I saw his interview when he said that he wanted to do interviews in English, which he didn't speak English whatsoever last year. And for me, as a Dominican fellow, and as my third language is English. My first language is love. Yeah. So, for me, I was a fan. I became even more a fan because I understand me growing up in Dominican, not speaking one word English. I'm still learning. I can speak English to save my life. But I know what it takes, and I know how easy it could be when you actually can express what you want. When you're in an environment where you don't know what the people are saying about you, you can express yourself. It's difficult to be in that. You can enjoy what you do. So for a guy like him to force himself to learn the language, which is probably going to be more than half of the year, is great to see, because a lot of the Latino guys should emphasize on being able to learn the language and communicate, because they expect to be here for a long time. So it's great to see.
Hey, Michael, when when Adrian came and you became teammates, when did it hit you, or how quickly did you think, yeah, I might be playing with a future Hall of Famer here? And I know you touched on it, but what really jumped out at you about him?
Yeah, playing against him when he was in Seattle, it's weird. I don't know how AB is, but like I never focus like on stats. You know who's good. Like you watch Adrian take ground balls, like okay, he's really good at this. You watch him like hit 2 homers in a game. Okay, Adrian's got a lot of power. Then you play with somebody, and you gain this whole nother level of respect for the way they do it. Right? It's he's 0 for 3, but he doesn't give that fourth one away. It's boom, base hit in the right field, and he gets momentum into the next day. It's again, he's showing up, doesn't give anything away, never takes a play off on defense. So all those small things, you start looking at that, and you're like, wow, this guy's a really, really special player. And it didn't take long once we were teammates for me to see that. And then you combine that with the fact that he was a big league starter when he was 11 years old, and that's a lot of numbers that are like stacked up. And next thing you know, it's you look up at what he's able to do, and I was like, damn, like look at his numbers right now. And then he goes on, and sure enough, in his 30s, he just crushes the league. And next thing you know, he's a slam dunk first ballot guy. So again, a huge honor to play with him for sure.
Thank you.
Steven, down here in the front of the line.
So, Adrian, we've been talking about this speech for months. How much of it is done?
It's done. It's just got it done 2 days ago. So it's done, but just how deliberate that's going to be the big part. I can't speak English for once, and once I get there, I'm gonna get wrecked. It's gonna be a mess, but I'm gonna get up there somehow.
Just use your love language.
Huh?
Just use your love language.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah.
That's easy. Yeah, I'm gonna do
don't.
that. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
As you've prepared for this and learned about the Hall of Fame process and gone through all this since you found the word that you were getting in, how much have you learned, and have you given yourself time to just really think about what you're going into and the names that you're going to be associated with for the rest of your life?
To be honest, I for a second, couple times, I thought about it, but I'm being so concentrated. Jesus Christ.
I mean, really?
Evan Grant,
back
people.
row's
Evan
back
Grant
there.
just got here.
Slams his
Christ,
backpack and
jeez.
anything. Go ahead, Adrian.
And the
Yeah, go ahead.
freaking
Yeah,
yellow
yeah, I
bright
know.
shirt
Go ahead. Yeah.
in front.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna get out of here.
I know. It's
Okay. Because John is here, I'm gonna stay.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. So the whole process of Hall of Fame thing is I'm honored, and I never thought about being in that group whatsoever, and I'm grateful, but it hasn't sunk in yet. It's been a lot of things that I have to prepare for, getting ready for a lot of stuff. And like I repeat again, like this whole speech thing doesn't really get me to enjoy the way I should, but I can't wait to be there, try to enjoy it. But I think once the speech is over, it's then when I'm gonna write, maybe if I don't screw it up too bad, then is when I'm gonna probably realize where I'm at, the people are next to me, and what I have accomplished, and the group that somehow I'm gonna be associated with.
Can I double back on? Sorry, I don't mean to butt in here, but like, he's doing all this in his second language. I mean, I can't imagine how difficult that is. Really, we tease him all the time when he talks, but I mean, this is not his third language apparently, right? But I mean, I can't imagine how difficult that is. And like to your point, you're talking about young players now making this huge effort to speak English. I mean, you ask players here born in the States, and they can't go to Chipotle. This is Spanish to them is ordering extra guacamole at Chipotle. That's their Spanish for the day, right? So it's really incredible what these guys are able to do. Come here and they put in massive efforts to, one, get to know their teammates in a clubhouse, live everyday life in a different society. I give Adrian just talk about what he did as a player, but to be able to do this, to write a Hall of Fame speech and to try and cover his whole life for people who have meant something to him and do it in English, really is an incredible thing. Really is.
Thank you, Michael.
Alex, in the back of the
Adrian, one of the things that kind of stood out about you as a player was there was uniqueness to the way that you played in addition to the production, right? Like whether it was the shuffling of the feet after a take, or sometimes appealing your own check swing. How aware were you of some of the unique traits that you demonstrated on the field that ended up being pretty entertaining to watch? And who entertains you when you watch them playing baseball right now?
Well, thank you for calling it unique. I think it was more weird, stuff that I used to do, but it wasn't by design. It just is ways that I was always trying to figure out how to be better and more consistent. And I did things just to try to make myself better. The shot for the feet, I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't know how it came out. It was when I was aggressive and I didn't swing, and so my feet just go. I couldn't help it. Other things that I do, that was just okay. I think it's so stupid. Some crazy things that I used to do, but part of it was just trying to have fun, enjoy the game. And I think that was one of the main reasons why I played for so long and why I got to actually enjoy what I did, understanding that it was not a job, it was just a game that, we get paid to play. We have so much passion. I love that game, and so why not enjoy it? And I was trying just to do whatever I could to just be happy and enjoy the game. Some people like some stuff I did, some people didn't like it, but, I would just be myself. Be myself. But I seen a lot of guys doing different things now. I watch Soto do some similar. And other guys do crazy stuff. Like some guys do a little too much, but everyone has their own different things to do. But I didn't try to do it for laugh or make people, make fun of other people. I just did it because it came out. It came out of me, and I feel comfortable doing it. There's a couple of things that was infamous, or whatever you call it, that pull of that. That would just happen because the guy told me, "Yeah, you get over there." Okay, I pulled the thing with me, but I didn't try to be funny. But it's just I would just try to be myself and enjoy the game, and that's how it happened.
Michael, if I can follow up, how much did you? When did it occur to you, like as a teammate of Adrian's day to day, like when did you start enjoying and picking up on some of the uniqueness of some of the elements that he was doing, and how much did you appreciate that?
I remember the first time he did the feet thing. We were in spring training in Peoria. He had just signed with Seattle, and I was playing short and bottom of the first, and he takes a pitch and he starts stomping his feet, and I was like, what? Again, the only thing I knew about Adrian was like he had big years in LA, coming off a really, really big year. But I didn't really, because he's in the other league, I didn't really see him play like on a day-to-day basis, right? So it's the first time I had seen that. So I thought it was very weird too. But in playing with Adrian, like you said, he's just being himself. It wasn't something that he kind of like set out to do. It just kind of came out. And I remember one time I heard him give an answer, and I kind of related to it. I didn't do anything like that. But he was talking about when we first came up into the league, young players weren't supposed to do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It was you get into the clubhouse, you shut up, be seen, don't be heard, that kind of thing. Nowadays, young players are encouraged to be themselves. So I think Adrian, I remember he was talking, he had a point in his career, he's like, man, like, okay, I'm going to be myself now. Like, I don't need to. And I think it probably coincided with his career, like, hitting a whole nother gear, too. So, I had a front row seat for it, and it was always fun to see. But again, it was fun to see because it wasn't manufactured, or it was just him being him. And you always respect that from teammates when they're just being themselves.
I know we're talking about all the weird stuff, and there is a lot of it. And there are those indelible moments, like you talked about the pull in the on-deck circle and shtick with Elvis and all that. But one of the more indelible moments for me in your career was the 3,000th hit and the celebration with your kids on the field. And I'm curious, like, where that image ranks in your head in terms of your career, and just how significant it is for you to be able to celebrate this and have your kids have been a big part of your career.
Yeah, Evan, you're right. I think the 3,000 hit was number one in my career for different reasons. Because number one, I never expect myself to be there. When I came to the big leagues, and like Michael said, which is a great point. Like when you came to the big league, you're just happy to be there. You sit in a corner, you don't say nothing. You tell you jump, you jump, and because that's how it was in our days. I think nobody knew who I was for 3 years in the clubhouse because I just stood in my corner, do whatever I was asking because I was happy to be there. But back then, I never expected to play so long. I never thought about being even in the conversation of 3,000 hits. It was not even in my mind. I didn't play for numbers, number one, and I didn't see myself as a player can get there. You know, because I remember, I think it was 2001. I played with Ricky in LA, and I was just amazed the numbers he had. I wasn't a number guy, but you know, when they keep putting it on the scoreboard, and you see the numbers he had, like, wow, this is unbelievable. I never thought I was gonna be in the conversation of being with Ricky in hits whatsoever. It was a far reach for me. But when I got to that number, it was incredible to think that I got there. But number two, it's just the way the Rangers did everything with my family, having that logo in right field, and somehow they sneak it by me. I don't know how. You know, having the family in the field and having come in and to hug me and say wonderful things to say to me that day. Just seeing him come in the field, for me, that's number one. Because, you know, I love baseball. That was my passion. But, you know, I'm a family man, and I do anything for my family. And the fact that the family was there, my wife, my kids, my parents, it was a moment that I will never forget. And for that reason, that's definitely number one.
What did they say to you when they came in?
Private things, Evan, stay in line. Yeah, I can't tell you what it says. It's graphic what it says.
It's graphic.
Michael, Tuesday somebody's going to win the MVP award at the All-Star game. Can you go back to your experience of it and what that person is going to be feeling that night?
Yeah, that was a fun night. You know,
That triple?
Yeah, speed. See that?
It's like that.
Yeah. It's a really, really cool moment. Like at the time when you're playing, it's an exhibition game, right? At the time they had the rule with they decided in the World Series too, which was silly, but you knew it kind of did mean something. But I remember in that, like honestly, in that at bat, I had a bit of a selfish moment. We had a guy on first, Paul Konerko, who got pinch run for. And Troy Gloss was hitting, and I was on deck. There's 2 outs. Trevor Hoffman's on the mound, and Troy hits one like down the line, in the air, and I knew it was going to be fair. It was just if it's going to be a homer or a ground rule double. Now, if he hits a homer, Mariano comes in, game's over. But if it bounces over, I'm up a second and third. So I'm like bounce, 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 bounce. If we're in a regular season game, if we're in a spring training game, I'm not thinking that. In an All-Star game, I was like bounce, bounce, bounces over. I was like, donut off, let's go. So, again, you do have a bit of a different mindset for a game like that, because now kind of everything was on the line, and it made that bat a lot more fun, especially even before the result. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the game, we, got a truck and gave it to my dad. It still sits in his driveway. So it was a really, really cool moment. All-Star games are great. They really are fun. No matter what, a lot of times, leading up to the game, you get asked, do you want to go? I always said, yeah, like I would love to go. All-Star games really, really are a good time. You get to kind of like hang out with guys that you have a lot of respect for. If you're lucky to go with a bunch of teammates, it makes it even better. I know we went one year. We were coming off going to the World Series, so we had our staff, a bunch of players. It was a blast, and a lot of special memories. But that was definitely the best one.
And real important question here. Can you take us through and guide us about the love language that he had in the clubhouse with you guys?
I didn't know he had one. I think that's probably very graphic too. So I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, that's funny.
And last one, please, guys. Do 2 more, Bob, and then finish up with David.
Adrian, this weekend, is there any Hall of Famer that you really want to meet? You never talked before. You always wanted to say hello.
There's plenty of them that I would love to shake their hands and tell them that I was a huge fan. But I want to say who. Yeah, I want to say who.
I figure we can finish up with Spanish, if that's okay, with Adrian. Adrián, lo que significa todo este tiempo, primero estas actividades en el Juego de Estrellas, esto de futuras estrellas y por supuesto el Salón de la Fama, lo que ha significado todo esto para ti, lo que está en tu mente y cómo lo has manejado todo.
Bueno, gracias. Orgulloso de estar aquí y que he tenido el chance de que me seleccione para ser el manager de las futuras estrellas. Tremendo talento en ese clubhouse. Y para mí es un orgullo estar aquí. Este es mi tercer año haciendo esto y me ha gustado mucho. ¿Verdad? Que me gusta cómo todo se envuelve. Y es un placer ver estos muchachos aquí jugando y después un año más tarde están en Grandes Ligas. Por eso me gusta este evento. Y con relación al Salón de la Fama, tenemos tiempo esperando esto. Va a ser un momento bien significativo para mí y mi familia. Estamos tratando de disfrutarlo lo más que podamos. Hay muchas cosas que están en movimiento, pero va a ser algo inolvidable para nosotros y esperamos tratar de disfrutarlo como se debe. Y estar agradecidos y va a ser un honor estar en ese podio con todo el mundo. Gracias.
Do we want Michael's response to that?
Yeah.
Y necesito aprender más.